Welcome back to Music in the Middle, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about two Christmas scores that I think go really well together because they kind of show two ends of the same spectrum. And that would be the main theme from Elf and the suite from the Polar Express. Now, I've actually put these together in my mind before because the main four notes that start each of these themes are actually the same. And it's really interesting because they came out around the same time. Elf came out in 2003 and The Polar Express came out in 2004. The score for Elf was done by John Debney, and the score for The Polar Express was done by my man Alvin Silvestri, who did Back to the Future and Night at the Museum and Infinity War and Endgame. But just listen to these two back to back because the same four notes start them, but then they do something different after. Now, with Elf, in the main theme that I'm going to be talking about, it's a little different, so I'm actually going to play for you another theme where he's traveling in the movie because it does it a little more clearly, and it shows the comparison between the two. See what I mean? So first, let's talk about the main title from Elf. Elf starts out with those iconic bum 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 bumps. It really shows that childlike playfulness of the theme and of the movie as a whole. It just sets the tone for this movie's going to be fun, it's going to be lighthearted, and it's going to make you feel like a child again, which is good because that's basically what Elf is about, is that he feels like an elf and he feels like a kind of a child. And then it goes into this whistling. I really like it because it gives it that fanciful, fantastical feel to it as well, because not only is this about being a child, it's also about, again, being an elf, which is a very mystical, magical thing, and, Christmas magic and all that. So I like the whistling because it gives it that other layer of fantasy to it. And oddly enough, the more I listened to this, the more I thought I could actually mistake this, maybe, for a Wes Anderson movie score. Not any specific one, but just saying that it feels like it almost could go over a Wes Anderson movie, and I would understand it. Those are all my thoughts on the Elf main title because that's another part of it. It's just really simple. It's very straightforward and it's fun. Now compare this with Alan Silvestri's suite from the Polar Express. This theme is much richer and deeper, and it's very grand and orchestral, and it is, I think, the complete opposite of what the Elf theme is doing, because it is that same childlike wonder, but on a huge scale. And the Polar Express is, like it shows in the poster, it's ginormous. It's supposed to be a movie about scope and the grandness of Christmas. And so it uses that same four notes, but just on such a big scale. And this theme is a lot longer because then it goes into kind of an overture of its themes for the songs that are going to be played throughout the movie, because it is a musical. It has a few songs within it. Which is just makes it even more of like this Broadway-esque feel, with this sort of overture and the fact that it has all these songs and the fact that it just seems like a presentation of a movie rather than just a fun story like Elf. And listening to it again, funny enough, I found it has another connection to Elf because it also has its own bums. But it's not like the lighthearted, bouncy little bum 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 bum. It's more choral, and like a whole choir is singing it. And finally it ends on those four notes again, but in little tings, just one per note. And it reminds me of a bell, which is, as you know if you've seen the movie, kind of the whole thing is he gets a bell at the end and he can hear it ringing because he believes in Santa. So I thought that was really cool that it ends on this little, after this entire ginormous score, it ends on this little So both of these themes, I think, go together very well because they show sort of the opposite ends of childlike wonder. One being just the playful, everyday, going out and being a child and having fun with the world. And then the other one is the grand, everything's big and like you're just going into the world for the first time and it's so cool and everything big and small is just like this huge display. And so I think that they go together really well, especially considering they start off with the same four notes or have them somewhere in the middle. I don't want to say Alan Silvestri sort of ripped it off, but like it is a little coincidental that they came out a year apart and they have that same theme to start out. But again, they do something wildly different with each. It kind of feels like Elf is sort of the Christmas Day movie and Polar Express is the Christmas Eve movie. Christmas Eve being a little more reverent and quiet and it's nighttime and then you have Christmas Day, which is just the fun and the gifts and everything. So you know what I mean? So kind of they have their own spot. Let me know what you think of each score. If you've heard both of them, if you've seen both the movies, let me know what you think of them and how they compare. And let me know if you have one over the other that you like better. Again, I think they each have their place, but you could be more of the fun side or more of the grand side. Just let me know what you think, and as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and music right in the middle. I'll see you guys later.